So God can only do what can be done. And so God can't make a square circle because circles aren't squares and squares aren't circles. So, God is limited by who he is. So God is always good. So God can't be evil. God always exists. He can't not exist. So even within God being omnipotent, he's still limited by his own nature. And his nature is he's always good. He's always powerful. He's all knowing. And that gets into Jesus. Jesus gave up temporarily some of those things like omnipresence in order to become a man.
Does it bother you when it bothers me now when I hear people say God can do anything he wants to do, and it's like, well, I guess anything he wants to do, but when they say they leave it at God can do anything, I'm
Yeah.
like, wow, I don't think we're seeing him correctly, because as you just said, there are things that he
Yep.
cannot do. And so does that bother you, or do you just chalk that up as it's just not very deep theologically, or how do you process
Yeah, well, I
that?
think sometimes, I just kind of let some of that stuff go. Yeah, I do funerals. I got 3 funerals I'm doing this week, and the amount of bad theology that you hear in a funeral. I know so and so became a butterfly. I know so and so became an angel, but sometimes that's just people have not really thought through death and have not thought through a Christian perspective. And most people know just enough of the Bible to be dangerous. And what you find out is when you actually learn the biblical approach to it, it's so much better. So, for example, the idea God can do whatever he wants, it sounds very aspirational, but it's actually Hinduism, right? Because God is both good and bad. So God can do whatever he wants. The problem is he's the good side of the force and the dark side of the force. It means God's going to kiss and a hug. He's also going to rape and a murder. It's really problematic. Instead, mere Christianity, and C.S. Lewis says that, God is transcendent. He's outside of his creation. And so he is the ultimate definition of what can and cannot be done. And he is goodness. And so, no, God will never be evil. And so he is always motivated by love. And even when he does things that appear to be challenging in what we might do, tough love, you might describe it, or he takes the life of someone. Well, the reason murder is wrong is because life belongs to God. God can take life because it belongs to him. When we take a life unjustly, it's wrong because we don't own that life, be it our own with suicide or be it someone else's, unless we have a just cause, which again appeals to who God is as the source of justice.
Can you see why Pastor Chad is one of our favorites, guys? Oh my goodness. Just that thought that many of us have adopted a Hinduistic view of God. That's beautiful. Wow.